Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and this is a very special insight tonight with Ashok Vyas. We are addressing something which is shocking as well as bothering all of us, and that which President of America refers to as domestic terrorism. What happened in Buffalo, and this, I will say young kid, but can we call him young kid? Should we use the word killer? What is it that prompts someone to pick up gun, have live telecast of this horrible act? What is going on in his mind? We'll try to understand in our own humble way and also look at the proactive response that is our responsibility as citizen of this world, of course, citizen of America too. I have the pleasure of welcoming someone from India who is increasing harmony in the world through her music. Jahnvi Shrimankar joins me in the studio. Namaste. And I have the pleasure of the presence of two wise friends and frequent panelists of the show, Dr. Rakesh Sharma, community leader, and Sunil, motivational speaker as well as author.
Thank you.
Welcome. Namaste. I would begin with Sunil ji first. When you hear what happened in Buffalo, what is it that was your first response? So we are not getting your audio.
Even before we talk about Buffalo and the incident, we must realize that this is not the first or something that has just happened as a manifestation for the very first time. You know, when I was a fresh immigrant in this country back in 2006, my eyes were transfixed to the television when the Virginia shooting happened. Virginia shooting also similar thing. And what had happened at that time, if we recall, the authorities were very slow to divulge the identity of the perpetrator of this victim and the victim's details as well. So at that time, the only thing that they were saying was this person is of Asian origin. Now, whether it is a person of Asian origin or whether it is a person of Caucasian origin, race really doesn't matter. These kind of incidents are completely down to one individual who's non-normal, abnormal, who cannot be put in a box and interpreted as a normal individual. The word norm and normal means that there are certain characteristics that we all share that are seen as normal. These kind of shootings are abnormal. That's why they make news. That's why they break our hearts. That's why they stay as headlines for a long time. Debates are kindled and then we go back to our lives. But the first thing that to answer your question, when I started hearing and started reading, and also caught up with the West Coast shooting, I saw two parallels between what happened on the West Coast and what happened on the East Coast. Same hatred. It is not individuals, it is hatred that is just driven individuals to those extremes where they are willing to just kill and in the process also destroy their own lives.
Yeah. Sunil, you said it very rightly, and the way you articulated, where you leave with hatred being the culprit. Dr. Sharma, hatred, is it possible for someone to have and function normally for other affairs? So this boy is interacting, hiding what he's doing with the resources, what he's ordering from the parents, and sometimes he's even questioning whether they'll discover what he has hidden in his bedroom, and the kind of post which he was frequently making on social media, and even asking the why FBI has not, or authorities haven't caught me yet. They probably want this to happen, and he had such a long document which was detailing what he was going to do. Is there something wrong in the way we monitor the potential symptoms, Dr. Sharma?
See, US Congress and US public has been very confused. As we all know, people are divided almost 50-50. And the reason is insufficient data given to them. At the same time, people have very fixed ideas whether they are in Congress or a common person. They have been told that guns and bullets don't kill people. And I don't know where they got this idea from. If guns and bullets don't kill people, then what does? Even if you have a person with schizophrenia or mentally retarded person and he does not have a gun and has a knife, perhaps he can kill or stab 2, 3 people before he can be overpowered. So it's all about guns, nothing else. I do not believe in background check. I don't believe in what legislators have said so far. That's all political issue. Unfortunately, what has happened is in this civilized society, we depend on 100 senators and 400 and some congressmen and women to decide about how the country should run. And that's where the problem lies. We are looking at unidimensional approach to this horrendous thing where roughly 45,000 Americans die every year, either from homicide or suicide. And we think senators or congressmen are going to fix it. I just have one simple question from the public. If they think that public is very intelligent, then why do we have a speed limit in United States on the highways? Why don't we leave it to the public? Hey guys, you decide at what speed do you want to drive on the highway. I'll give you freedom to drive 150 miles an hour, or if you're sensible, drive 60 miles an hour. So if we do not allow them to drive at any speed, why do we have a speed limit? Same way, shouldn't we have proper laws and not just background check, but a civilized society like Australia went through the same thing. US and Australians are almost similar kind of people, white nation, civilized, rich people, watch same kind of movies, they eat almost same food. And Australia in 96 made the laws that people cannot have semi-automatic guns, and they have made it so difficult for general public to obtain a gun. And their suicide rate or homicide rate is 23 times less than United States. If we don't learn anything from these statistics, I wonder when we will.
So, Dr. Sharma, you make a very good point, very important one, and very, very logical with proper sequence of cause and effect. But I would go one step away from the scene the way you are describing it right now, and I'm not questioning it, but I just think that at the end of the day, availability of gun or non-availability of gun is an important issue. Yet what human mind is thinking, not just from the legislature's point of view, but from the social point of view, as parents, as social beings, how we can address the functioning of human mind in a way that it is not filled with hatred or whatever is that which causes someone to become insensitive towards pain of others, how we can reduce that. And in that context, if I segue from the politics and the legal system for a second and look at increasing those possibilities which reduces such mental orientation, and I think our way to survive lies somewhere in appreciating the role that art forms have played in bringing us where we are in our civilized society. And fortunately, I have the presence of someone who is working on music therapy, which of course works on mind as well. Jahnvi Shrimankar has a new found fame with her song in the movie Gangubai Kathiawadi. But right now she is sitting with us as a sensitive being who also looks at art to help people move towards harmony. And looking at this scenario, Jahnvi, आप क्या सोचती हैं कि एक तरफ जो कानून बनाए जाने चाहिए वो बनाए जाने चाहिए, पर हमारा जो आर्ट एप्रिसिएशन है, हमारा जो कनेक्शन विद म्यूजिक है, डू यू सी दैट ग्रेजुअली may also play in making the world a better place and a place जो कि कोई इस तरह सोचे नहीं?
Yes, for sure. I think that there is nothing in the world like music. Music is something that binds people of any background, any religion, any nationality, any creed, any race, any color. So, and also we all know how music plays a very important role in each individual's life. I don't know, I haven't met a single human being who has said, I hate music. No, you can't hate music because music has an effect on you. You cannot deny that. It's just that I think that the world that we're living in, we don't acknowledge it much because our lifestyles are such, our lives are so fast paced. We don't pause and really take the time to listen to music, take the effect of it. You know, I often wonder if the kids in schools and colleges are also being fed enough music, or are they being exposed to enough music and good music that will have effect. Now, what is good and bad music is very relative. I think that for you, something that you may like may be different from something what another person likes. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि it's important for an individual to identify what kind of music brings a positive effect on him or her, and it is important that he or she listens to that kind of music. Like, you prescribe medicines. I think that should become a regularity in the person's life, and it definitely helps over the time because the vibrations create they release certain good hormones in your body and in your mind. So it definitely leads to positive thoughts.
I think very well put, and there are some terminologies in terms of what kind of biological changes takes place in human mind from what, and in India we grew up learning that whatever you are accepting through different senses also makes the kind of person that you are, what you eat, what you hear, what you see and all that. And Sunil, Robert ji, I will also bring in the role which marathon race plays on human mind, or even walk. So, and as we are not going to change laws right away, but we can change a little bit in what we as an individual, like if you are watching this program, what you can do, and you may or may not know, but that act may prevent something like what happened in Buffalo recently from happening somewhere else. So we need to do our bit, whatever we can do. That is what we are trying to focus on this, not just blaming on the way politics is playing its role, not just putting the whole responsibility on law and order machinery, but trying to identify what we can do. And Sunil, your take on how running makes you feel, and if we have more people developing healthy habits, will that not help us in moving in the direction that we want to with proactive response? Sunil.
Wonderful, wonderful. In fact, I'll pick up from where Jahnvi ji left. We now know, and we've been trained to see what hatred looks like. Every few months, this conversation goes on. In fact, New Jersey Governor Rick Murphy had come and he said, now all those political leaders will come out and say, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And then that same old charade goes on and that drama goes on. And then when the next news cycle changes, everything is forgotten. So in some ways, we are also becoming a little conditioned, desensitized to the losses of the precious lives around us. See, what we are forgetting is that among the 10 people, there was a grandmother who died. There was a wonderful dad or a mother that was the humanizing is gone when we just reduce them to statistics. This hatred, we see its ugly face. But if you just see the opposite of what does hatred look like is harmony. And when harmony, we don't celebrate this multicultural harmony that we always talk about, right? In our culture, we call it Vasudeva Kutumbam, we universal family and all that. When I run a New York City marathon, 50,000 runners from 170 countries are running together that day. And you know what is interesting about New York City Marathon? That the entire day, mornings 7:30, 8 onwards, blistering winds and blustery weather and cold, families, little children, little boys and girls are coming out and standing the entire day and cheering. 1 million New Yorkers come out into the streets and cheer people they don't know from Adam. I mean, the whole day is like one big mela, one big festival, one big celebration of the human spirit. So music has that power to bring all of us together. Sport has this power to bring all this together. And anything that connects us and shares a universal experience has the ability to bring us together. What happened after 9/11? The whole country came together and supported each other in mourning, in grief, in rebuilding America, in rediscovering what values of this country were. And then, so when an external aggressor came, we all were united. But now, when there is no external aggressor, we are all divided from within. So, sport, music, anything that is universal, we come together together. Lastly, I want to leave with that little boy in that middle school bullying incident from Dallas that is talking, it is going viral now. If you catch middle schoolers and young high schoolers and we start addressing bullying and mental health at that stage, saying bullying is not a normal two boys and girls fighting with each other. Bullying is aggression. Bullying is a manifestation of an abnormal mental health issue. If we can start the conversations right there, then we are spreading the awareness and hopefully some of these can be addressed in the right time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sunil. I think you make many important points, and continuing with our approach on this issue, which has once again shocked us and is forcing us to take note of this seeping or hidden potential of violent act erupting anywhere. Dr. Rakesh Sharma, as a physician, you interact with, of course, patients who come from different backgrounds, and there are some common features that any human body experiences. You have pain, whether you are black, white, brown, whatever, your heart beats in the same way, etc. So, do you think we forget about the pain of others sometimes because our mind functions in certain fashion? When I say our, I'm specifically referring to the boy who is at the center of this shooting, and there could be someone else somewhere. So what proactive measures do you think, other than, of course, what you mentioned are important points, but now looking at it from individual's point of view, where we, if own this responsibility of making changes in our society, in our world, then what would be your take, Dr. Sharma?
For the remedy, you cannot fix anything unless you know why it happens. And unfortunately, we all have different opinions. Yes, music and New York City Marathon, these are nice things to talk about, but is it going to decrease violence or gun violence? Absolutely not. Because people who do mass murders, they don't belong to one group or the other. You will see over and over again that there are small segment of people who actually have mental condition and they involved with gun violence. Most of these people who are involved with the gun violence, or you can call mass shooters, they have a normal background, or they have had normal background in majority of the cases. Few examples I'll give. The person who changed Australian gun law in '96 had no criminal record was absolutely normal. Killed 35 people, and Australia changed the whole gun law in that country. In USA, you will see a lot of times people who are involved with mass murders are employee who has been fired, someone who was not given promotion, a school children who just wanted to experiment, came from good homes, someone who is just angry because his girlfriend left him. These are not the people who actually have mental diseases. What happens is, one is anger, number two, you don't get what you expect. That's where people get into violence. And underneath problem is easy availability of guns. Even if you have a background check, Congress just passed in 2020 a background check, and then Senate took 2 years to pass the same law. It happened only 2 months ago. And what is the law? Instead of 3 business days, they will wait for 10 business days to check your background. I mean, I have a small little example. If I'm a normal person today and you give me a gun, and what are the chances that I may not be normal a month or 6 months from now? Could I be depressed? Could I lose a lot of money and I go and do mass shooting? Absolutely. Background checks are helpful in very small segment of people, 10-20% people who are mentally ill. But 80-90% people are absolutely normal when they buy the gun. So they can flip out few months later. So what is the remedy? Number one, in a civilized society, in urban areas, you cannot allow public to have gun. If you live in mountain area, you're the only person in next 5 miles, sure, you can have a gun to protect yourself. Number two, early education, like Sunil mentioned, we have seen over and over in drug addiction, if you start teaching children from elementary school that drugs are bad, and that perhaps will make some effect on them. Number three, don't depend on just the legislators. These people are politicians. They will do anything to remain in power. And what do we need to do? Like in medical profession, every 3 years as a doctor, I had to take a course called infectious disease course by New York State. Every 3 years is a 2 or 3 hour course I have to pass. Same way, people who need guns or have guns, every 2-3 years, then should be required to take some kind of classes.
So, Dr. Sharma, yeah.
The remedies are, there are a lot of things that we can do, but what we have done so far has not made a dent of a difference. 45,000 people in USA die every year. 80% of the homicides are done by guns, not by knives, not by throwing somebody from the roof of the building, but by guns. And 50% of the suicides are involved with the guns.
Dr. Sharma, I hear you, and you make many important points. And what you say, there is no way to refute that. And yet, in order to look at the space of hope, where what we do makes a positive change, whether the legislator is changed tomorrow or not, but what we do may bring about some change that might be not even known to anybody, yet it would have some impact of preventing something like this from happening. And just going back, looking at the limited time that we have towards Jahnvi, and if there is any song that you think, even in the environment where everybody is concerned, which brings a sense of hope and joy and lifts up the spirit of people to move towards a spot where they can go collectively and celebrate harmony of being human. Share that song also, along with what he's saying. It somewhere it puts a question mark that whatever we do is not going to make any difference. So your take on both these things?
There's a song, it's in Rajasthani language. It's called Savaryo Ghatumai Re Ramayo Ghatumai. तने कटे ढूंढवा जाऊं सांवरियो घटमा. Which means that, you know, we keep looking for here it says we keep looking for God everywhere, you know, where we do this and that, just so religious, we do so many puja, part, and we walk so many miles to just look for God, but actually God exists within you. And my interpretation of this is that, you know, we keep looking for answers. We follow some religious leader, we follow some spiritual leaders because we want answers to a lot of questions, but I think that the answers are within ourselves. We just don't look deep inside enough. We just don't you know, introspect enough. So that is one song that I would like to sing.
Please.
सांवरियो घटमाई रे रमैयो घटमाई, सांवरियो घटमाई रे रमैयो घटमाई, तन कटे तन कटे तन कटे तन कटे तन कटे ढूंढवा जाऊं रे सांवरियो घटमा हो जियो.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Sunil ji and Rakesh ji, when you hear a song, it lifts up your spirit and there is a sense of inner joy that trickles down and becomes part of your experience. We just have a minute to go, Sunil ji. So, briefly, if we restrict your response to, is there any way that as a normal citizen we can have some proactive response to stop from violence being triggered the way it did, Sunil ji?
First of all, thank you for letting Jahnvi ji sing, and it's just lifted my spirits. The conversation should be always on mental health. We as an Asian, South Asian community, we don't often talk about mental health in our circles. We think it's the other communities that have issues. We don't often have issues inside our community.
Sunil,
Start the conversation a lot.
I'm afraid I'll just have 30 seconds from Dr. Sharma. Proactive response. Hope is there or no? Quick.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get the question.
Yeah. So basically, just one word answer. Do you think our proactive response would make a dent in preventing such things from happening?
As a parent, if you teach your children the value of life, make them good citizens, violence can be eradicated.
Absolutely. So on that positive note, in spite of all odds, there is this glory of human spirit which is willing to overcome all challenges and move collectively towards solutions. And as I recollect the song of Kishore Kumar, वो बहुत फेमस गाना है, आज चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूँ एक ऐसे गगन के तले जहाँ गम भी ना हो, आंसू भी ना हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले. तो उस तरफ जाने के लिए हमें अपने अंदर विश्वास तो रखना आवश्यक है. जाह्नवी जी, आपने इस बातचीत में हिस्सा लिया, बहुत बहुत आपका धन्यवाद है. थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू सुनील रॉबर्ट, थैंक यू डॉक्टर राकेश शर्मा, and thanks to all of you with lots and lots of good wishes for all of us to have a better, harmonious and beautiful world. This is Ashok Vyas. Namaste.